The glittering lights of Hollywood often project an image of absolute perfection, an idealized reality where time stands still, and the biological realities of human existence are carefully masked behind layers of glamour, high-definition makeup, and meticulously crafted public personas. For decades, the global entertainment industry has thrived on the illusion of eternal youth, creating an environment where the natural progression of time is treated almost as a corporate secret, something to be managed in private rather than discussed in the open. Audiences around the world tune in to watch their favorite stars grace red carpets, deliver breathtaking performances, and give interviews that seamlessly navigate the safe waters of upcoming cinematic releases, creative inspirations, and standard lifestyle choices. This carefully maintained facade has dictated the boundaries of public discourse for generations, drawing a sharp line between the fantastical stories told on the silver screens and the actual, lived experiences of the individuals who bring those stories to life. Yet beneath this surface of scripted perfection lies a growing undercurrent of authenticity, driven by individuals who have reached a level of professional security and personal maturity where they no longer feel compelled to adhere to ancient industry silences. A profound shift is quietly taking place within the upper echelons of modern celebrity culture, as influential figures begin to realize that their massive global platforms can be utilized for something far more impactful than mere self-promotion or commercial marketing. They are beginning to understand that by breaking their silence on deeply personal, universal human experiences, they can challenge long-standing societal stigmas and foster a sense of global community that extends far beyond the cinema walls. As viewers who appreciate these deep, meaningful dives into the realities behind the cinematic curtain, we invite you to take a brief moment right now to subscribe to our channel, ensuring you never miss our deep explorations of the stories that truly shape our cultural conversation and human understanding. This emerging wave of candor is fundamentally changing how we view our cultural icons, transforming them from untouchable figures of fantasy into relatable allies who face the exact same biological realities, uncertainties, and physical transformations as the millions of people watching them from home. The power of a single public figure speaking honestly about an issue that has been relegated to the shadows for centuries cannot be understated, as it possesses the unique potential to validate the struggles of countless individuals who have felt isolated in their own experiences. When a celebrated icon steps away from the safety of the promotional script to address a topic that traditionally induces discomfort or awkward silences, it sends a powerful shockwave through the cultural landscape, forcing both the media and the public to reconsider why certain natural aspects of human life are treated with such intense reservation. This dynamic becomes particularly fascinating when it involves figures who have spent their entire adult lives being celebrated primarily for their physical beauty and cinematic grace, as their willingness to dismantle the illusions surrounding their own bodies represents a profound act of cultural rebellion. The transition from being a passive subject of the public gaze to becoming an active, vocal advocate for biological education and bodily respect marks a significant evolution in the relationship between celebrities and their global audience. It challenges the traditional consumer star dynamic, replacing superficial admiration with a deeper, more substantive connection rooted in shared human reality and mutual vulnerability. The journey toward this level of public openness is rarely straightforward, often requiring years of personal reflection, navigation of industry expectations, and a conscious decision to prioritize societal well-being over the maintenance of a comfortable, risk-free public image. To truly understand the significance of this contemporary cultural shift, one must look at the specific moments where the barrier of silence begins to crack, revealing the immense personal conviction required to speak truths that society is not always prepared to hear. It begins with subtle remarks, transitions into passionate declarations during major interviews, and eventually evolves into a sustained effort to educate, comfort, and empower others who are navigating similar paths in silence. The atmosphere surrounding these disclosures is often charged with a unique mixture of tension and relief, as the breaking of a taboo simultaneously triggers societal discomfort and profound public gratitude. It is within this compelling intersection of Hollywood glamour, hidden physical realities, and the courageous dismantling of ancient societal silence that our story unfolds, focusing on a historic dialogue that has captured the attention of millions and ignited a global conversation that is as necessary as it is long overdue. The unfolding narrative of breaking long-standing societal taboos reached a remarkable milestone during a recent, deeply intimate conversation between two of the film industry's most respected and visionary women, Penélope Cruz and Olivia Wilde. Meeting under the auspices of a feature interview for Allure magazine, the two artists, who recently collaborated on the highly anticipated cinematic project titled The Invite, chose to bypass the standard promotional talking points in favor of a raw, unscripted exploration of a biological phase that affects half the world's population, yet remains shrouded in systemic mystery and awkward dinner-table silence. Wilde, who directed the film, steered the conversation toward the realities of perimenopause, prompting Cruz to share insights that immediately shattered conventional misconceptions about what women actually experience as they age. Cruz, now 52 years old and a globally celebrated Academy Award winner, reflected deeply on the staggering timeline of this biological transition, explaining that perimenopause is far from a brief fleeting phase, but rather an extended journey that can easily last 10 to 12 years, often commencing as early as a woman's 40th birthday. The sheer volatility of this period was something Cruz described with vivid intensity. Recalling the moment when she was just 41 years old and her personal physician delivered the unsettling news that her hormones would be engaging in a chaotic, unpredictable dance for more than a decade to come. At the time, the actress admitted she processed the diagnosis as a terrible, almost impossible joke. Unable to comprehend how a person could navigate such continuous internal upheaval while maintaining a demanding global career and a demanding personal life. This internal complexity was amplified for Cruz due to her medical history of developing ovarian cysts, a condition that triggered exceptionally severe and dramatic spikes in her hormonal levels, creating a turbulent physical reality that she continues to manage to this very day. The conversation took an even more revealing turn when Wilde highlighted a specific, largely unrecognized symptom that Cruz had actually introduced to her during their time working together, a condition known scientifically as adhesive capsulitis, but more commonly referred to as frozen shoulder. For millions of women worldwide, the onset of severe shoulder stiffness, agonizing pain, and drastically restricted joint mobility is completely disconnected from any obvious physical injury, leaving them bewildered and searching for answers through endless medical consultations. In truth, as modern specialized health organizations like MIDI Health have increasingly verified, the dramatic drop in estrogen levels during the perimenopausal transition directly impacts the body's connective tissues, leading to localized inflammation and severe stiffness in major joints like the shoulder. This crucial piece of medical reality was woven directly into the creative fabric of their film, The Invite, where Cruz's character, Pina, delivers an unscripted, deeply authentic monologue about the realities of perimenopause, effectively using a mainstream Hollywood production as a Trojan horse to deliver essential health education to an unsuspecting global audience. Cruz credited her own deep understanding of these complex bodily mechanisms to the pioneering work of Dr. Mary Claire Haver, an obstetrician-gynecologist who has dedicated her career to dismantling the institutional ignorance surrounding mature women's health. The public release of this incredibly candid dialogue triggered an immediate, massive wave of emotional resonance across major digital platforms, particularly on global discussion forums like Reddit, where users express profound gratitude blended with a deep generational sorrow. Countless individuals lamented the fact that their mothers, grandmothers, and ancestors had been forced to endure these exact same agonizing physical trials in absolute isolation, stripped of any access to accurate information, communal support, or medical validation due to the stifling social mores of their respective eras. The public praise extended to other high-profile figures like Halle Berry, who have similarly refused to stay quiet, creating a powerful collective front of prominent women determined to normalize these conversations about the changing female body. Yet, alongside the immense gratitude, the revelation of symptoms like frozen shoulder sparked a wave of genuine shock and anxiety among many readers who suddenly realized their own unexplained, months-long physical suffering was actually an unrecognized manifestation of perimenopause. One particularly poignant online commentary came from a woman who had spent 8 agonizing months treating a frozen shoulder under the supervision of numerous male doctors, none of whom had ever once connected her debilitating joint pain to her stage of life, leading her to remark with bitter irony that a Hollywood actress was vastly better educated on basic female biology than a myriad of medical professionals. This striking disconnect highlights a profound systemic gap in global healthcare and public awareness, illustrating how the historical hesitation to speak openly about words like period, postpartum depression, and menopause has left a massive portion of the population completely unprepared for the natural transformations of their own bodies, making the fearless public testimony of cultural icons not just a matter of entertainment gossip, but an urgent, necessary intervention for public health and societal evolution. The profound societal resonance of this public exchange between Penélope Cruz and Olivia Wilde extends far beyond the realm of celebrity commentary, serving as a critical catalyst for a much larger, systemic reevaluation of how modern civilization approaches the fundamental realities of women's health. For generations, the biological transitions associated with aging have been shrouded in an unnatural, enforced secrecy that has effectively isolated millions of individuals during some of the most physically and emotionally challenging periods of their lives. By bringing these hidden struggles into the bright spotlight of mainstream media, Cruz and Wilde are actively dismantling a legacy of systemic medical gaslighting and cultural neglect that has historically left women to navigate complex, debilitating symptoms with little to no guidance. The cultural insistence on maintaining a polite silence around topics like perimenopause has not merely caused unnecessary emotional distress, but has also resulted in severe, tangible consequences within the global healthcare landscape, as evidenced by the countless medical professionals who remain shockingly uneducated on the full spectrum of hormonal transition symptoms. When an individual is forced to endure months of unexplained physical pain, such as the agonizing joint stiffness of a frozen shoulder, simply because society has deemed the root cause too uncomfortable to discuss at a dinner table, the collective silence ceases to be a mere social custom and becomes a profound failure of public education and institutional care. The overwhelming wave of public gratitude that followed this interview clearly demonstrates a deep, universal hunger for clinical truth, validation, and open dialogue, proving that the modern public is entirely ready to retire the outdated taboos that have dictated bodily discourse for centuries. This courageous stance is not a sudden or accidental departure for Penélope Cruz, but rather the continuation of a dedicated, years-long personal mission to use her immense international platform to advocate for comprehensive bodily respect and medical transparency. Reflecting back on her landmark 2019 interview with Tatler magazine, Cruz was already articulating these exact principles with fierce conviction, boldly stating to an unprepared audience that hormones rule the world and demanding that the various stages of a woman's life be acknowledged, understood, and called explicitly by their proper names. In that seminal conversation, Cruz pointed out the direct, inextricable relationship between honest terminology and basic human respect, arguing that the pervasive nervousness that settles over a room whenever words like period, postpartum depression, or menopause are spoken is a clear indicator of a profound societal deficiency. Her artistic journey from a young, celebrated star in Spanish cinema to a universally respected, Academy Award-winning global icon has given her a unique perspective on the immense power of visibility, and she has deliberately chosen to leverage that visibility to protect future generations from the isolation that her predecessors endured. By refusing to conform to the traditional, youth-obsessed expectations of the entertainment industry, Cruz has redefined what it means to be a leading lady in the modern era, demonstrating that true elegance and strength are found in the unapologetic embrace of one's biological reality. Her willingness to share her own medical vulnerabilities, including her long history of ovarian cysts and the resulting extreme hormonal spikes that she still manages today, provides a comforting anchor for countless women who have felt broken or abnormal in their own physical struggles. The integration of these vital health conversations into the creative architecture of their latest cinematic project, The Invite, highlights the unique and powerful role that visionary filmmakers like Olivia Wilde play in shifting global consciousness. Wilde, whose career has evolved from captivating on-screen performances to bold, critically acclaimed directorial ventures, has consistently demonstrated a deep commitment to telling authentic, multi-dimensional stories that challenge conventional social structures. In directing Cruz in this new film, Wilde created an environment of artistic trust that allowed for entirely unscripted, organic moments of profound truth, such as the scene where Cruz's character, Pina, openly discusses the realities of perimenopause and the unexpected symptom of adhesive capsulitis. By allowing these authentic medical realities to puncture the boundary of a fictional narrative, Wilde and Cruz have effectively transformed a piece of mainstream entertainment into a powerful instrument of public health education, reaching audiences who might otherwise never encounter this crucial information. This collaborative triumph underscores the immense value of having women in positions of creative leadership behind the camera, as their unique perspectives and lived experiences naturally inform the themes, dialogues, and human truths that are elevated to the global screen. Furthermore, Cruz's explicit praise for medical pioneers like Dr. Mary Claire Haver emphasizes the vital bridge that must exist between celebrity advocacy and rigorous clinical expertise, ensuring that the public conversation remains firmly rooted and accurate, empowering science rather than speculative folklore. As this historic cultural awakening continues to gather momentum, it is becoming increasingly clear that the efforts of Cruz and Wilde are part of a larger, unstoppable collective front of prominent women who are determined to permanently rewrite the rules of societal discourse. This movement shares a powerful synergy with the advocacy of other trailblazing figures, such as Halle Berry, who has famously taken her fight for menopause awareness and research funding directly to the highest levels of government, demonstrating that the battle against biological taboo must be fought simultaneously in the cultural arena and the halls of political power. The intersection of these distinct voices creates a massive, undeniable chorus that is forcing educational institutions, medical organizations, and media conglomerates to finally prioritize the comprehensive study and normalization of mature women's health. The ultimate legacy of these candid dialogues will be measured not just in the viral success of a magazine interview or the box office performance of a film, but in the permanent transformation of how families, workplaces, and medical practices understand and support individuals navigating the complex transitions of life. By fostering a society where a young woman can look forward to her future with preparation and confidence, rather than fear and confusion, and where older generations are honored with understanding rather than marginalized by silence, these cultural icons are gifting the world a more compassionate, respectful, and biologically literate future. The conversation has